Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world. Our next guest is coming to us all the way from England, TG Trouper. Welcome, TG.
Hello from England.
Tell our guests exactly where you are.
I'm in if you look at England, I'm on pretty much the extreme right, about 40 miles northeast of London. So if you look at London, draw a line up to about 2 o'clock, and then there I am.
There you are. I got a couple of questions about England, about you, your books, your process, but let's just jump right into your books. I'm going to put this cover up, Astrid. Is this the first book of that series?
Yeah, it's Astrid Book 1. That's the one that started off the whole series.
Started everything. And
Yep.
how many are in the Astrid series?
There's three.
Okay.
Astrid Book 1, War Changes People. Astrid Book 2, Good People Do Bad Things. And Astrid Book 3, which deals with the early missions.
Tell us a little bit about that series. What's it all about? By the way, that was your first book. It came out just over a year ago in February of 2023.
That's correct. It follows the story of a young actress who gets a big break in a film. And on that day, a belligerent neighbouring country attacks. She feels the call of duty and realises that being an actress is a little bit vapid. So she becomes a nurse. And then an event happens that changes her life completely, and she joins the military, using her acting skills to move through enemy territory, carry out her missions.
And what's the setting of the book?
It's set in fictitious countries, and the reason I did that is because as soon as you say this is Germany or this is France and start to describe the country, people just say, well, it's not like that at all. And I need to describe the countries. So I decided on two fictitious nations. Unfortunately, it's got unintended similarities with the events that are happening in Europe right now.
Wow.
It was written before it all happened, but it is uncomfortably similar in a lot of ways.
People are going to think you're prophetic.
Yeah, it touches on the current geopolitics, and was not intended because it was written beforehand, but that's what's happened.
It just kind of proves that history is cyclical. It happens and it happens again and happens again. So,
absolutely.
So let me ask you, TG. Like I said, I think February 14th, 2023, the first Astrid book came out, your first book, and you've just come out with, 5-6 more books?
I've just had my fifth released. There were three in the Astrid series. Then I don't want to be stuck in one genre. They are war stories that are accessible for anybody to read. There's not a lot of military detail. It's more about the guile and cunning that Astrid has to use to carry out a mission, because obviously she's a woman in a man's world. Is changing. Now, and I'm a bit of a fan of the old cheesy Hammer House of Horror films, and I wanted to write something in that sort of style. So I came up with this one called Perfect Strangers, which is Tales of the Unexpected meets a little bit of Hammer horror. It's basically about people can seem perfect until you find out what they really like, or in this case, what they really are. And so that came out, can't actually remember, I think it was March time. But this is the most recent one I've done. Again, it's a horror story.
And that's not part of any series?
There's going to be 3 books in the horror series, but they're unrelated stories. They're in 3 different horror genres. First one is Hammer House of Horror. The second one is more of a inanimate object becomes possessed and starts to control someone's life. And the third one, I haven't got a release date for that yet, but that will be sometime this year.
Okay, now the story, Be Careful What You Read, is that your latest book to come out?
That's my most recent one. Came out about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Seems to be doing all right. I've had some quite good reviews of it.
So once you learned you could write, you just kept writing and writing and writing. Become very prolific.
Yes, I've got 2 books with publishers at the moment
Wow.
that are in production, and they're a crime series. Again, I didn't want to get stuck in one particular genre,
Yeah.
and there is 9 books written in that in total, and I'm currently writing a 4th in the Astrid series, which will tell Astrid's story from the point of view of her victims, because for every person killed in a war, there's a family left behind somewhere. So
It's interesting the life you've had. You know, you knew you were creative even from a kid. You'd be looking out over the wheat fields and it's certain that a UFO landed out your window just to turn out to be a harvester.
Oh, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And woke up in the morning and saw it was a couple of tractors parked side by side and felt very, very silly.
Then you went into some sort of technology industry, soldering circuit boards.
Yeah, that's right. I went into, I actually hand built the world's first ADSL modem. I had no idea what it was. I was given a bunch of components and everybody was saying this thing was going to change the world. And I thought, okay, I'll build it. And I hadn't even heard of the internet by then. Yeah. After that, I went to work in the music industry, and it's the only industry other than writing that I've ever really loved.
Yeah.
And I still do to a certain extent.
Did you get to go out on the road with some bands?
No, I'm mainly fixing, repairing things and preparing stuff for other people to take out on the road. Because, I was not really that keen on sitting in tour buses and getting drunk and having.
So you've had several complete lives. Now you're having a complete new life as an author.
Yeah. It's something I do pretty much constantly now. If I can't find anything to write, I get a bit irritable.
Now, one of our themes on the show is always that we have so many viewers who are writing. They want to be an author. They want to finish writing. They want to get their book published. And there's literally millions of people out there who are writing books that just can't get across the finish line. Now, and you did it. And once you got across the finish line, figured out how to get a book published. You just keep going and do it again and again and again. Tell me about your discipline. Do you get up at a certain time every day and sit and type for so many hours?
I tend to wake up at about 6 o'clock anyway, and I just go downstairs and I just start writing. I find that's when I do my best writing, when your mind's clear, you haven't had any of the thoughts of the day clouding your head, and then I'll come up with the ideas. Do that for a couple of hours. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not so easy. Then the rest of the day will be spent kind of just refining what I've written and trying to think of the next plot twist or occasionally the next story of what I want to write after I finish this one.
It's amazing how your mind works, so creative, and be able to come up with this volume of work. By the way, TG, we have your web address up on the screen. What would our viewers find if they visit your website?
They'll see a bit about me. They'll see the first thing they'll see is all the covers of the books. Then they'll see some blogs that I've written, and then they'll see some news articles throughout the past year. And they'll also be able to purchase the books direct from the site. They're available in paperback or in Kindle, ebook format, but everybody knows it's Kindle, and buy it direct from there.
By the way, for our viewers, whenever I can buy directly from the author, I like to do that. I just feel I have more of a connection with the author, and probably we cut out some middleman somewhere too. Yeah,
that's I appreciate that.
So what's next, TG? You have books at the publisher right now?
There's 2 at the well, there's actually 3. One's being finalised, and 2 have just been through the proofreading process. So I'm not quite sure when they'll be out. But there's another 7 in that series. So I want to get them all out soon, so I can start working on other stuff. I can't see myself stopping writing.
No, that's great. Really You're inspiring to me and hopefully to our viewers as well. TG, we're already out of time, but any last thoughts, anything you want to share with our viewers or with the world or whatever you want to say?
What I would say, something that's dear to my heart, is that when anybody buys a book, ask the shop, has there been any AI used in it? because it is going to kill writing if that takes over.
AI use?
Artificial intelligence in science and technology, it's brilliant. In the creative arts, no, it's got to come from the human heart, got to come from the human mind, not the brain, because it's just literally what it says. It's artificial. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not someone's experience.
I've heard a little bit about that. Our guest, by the way, thank you, TG Trouper, all the way from Essex, England. Essex, England. Those are words I've never said aloud before. Essex, somewhere maybe north and east of London, I guess. And by the way, what time of day is it there right now?
It's 7:30 in the evening. Well, more like 7:45 now, I think. But yes, it's still bright and sunny. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're at 11:30 in the morning. We're just starting our day. You guys are wrapping up over there.
Yeah. Okay. Enjoy the heat.
I could talk to you all the time, TG. You're fascinating. Your books are fascinating. Tell our viewers, go buy his book. And by the way, don't buy one. Click 5 times. Buy 5 copies and hand them out to your friends. Start a little reading club. That's what I like to do.
That's great. Yeah.
All right, TG. TG Trouper, thank you so much for your time. And we hope to have you back on the show again and again.
I'd love to do that. Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, we'll be back with more authors right after this.